Hey everybody. A couple of years ago I shot a video entitled A Must-Have Accessory for Your Buddy Heater, and it was a video all about this TEG fan, or thermoelectric generator fan. You will often find them sold under the name of stove fan, but it's my most successful video I've ever shot, and so I want to shoot an update on this one. I've been using the same fan for years now. We're going to turn it on low. We're going to do a cold start. I'm going to try to do a cold start. There we go. So if you're not familiar with these buddy heaters, you got to turn it to the pilot light position, press it down. The pilot light will come on after 2 or 3 clicks, and then you can put it either into the low or the high position. There is no adjustment between low and high. It's either set to low, which is what we have it set at now, or it is set to high, which just puts out so much heat. It's just more than I can stand even being around. Now, I want to make it clear that I don't use this buddy heater for survival. It doesn't heat my camper or my home or anything like that. I just use it down here in the basement to take the chill off. I run it for a few hours at a time. If I go outside, I'm hanging out with a buddy, shooting a breeze or something, I might take it outside with me just so I can stand in front of it. It keeps the heat shining on me. It's just been a fantastic little heater, but I don't use it for 6 or 8 hours at a time. Again, I'm not heating my tent for the weekend camping trip or anything like that. I'm just using this to take the chill off the basement. And my big problem with the buddy heaters is, for as much as the heat really does radiate off the front of it, they did a fantastic job making this panel. It just really absorbs the heat from that flame. And yes, there's a flame. It's not catalytic. A lot of people seem to think these are catalytic. But there's just a flame there in front of this tile. That tile gets hot, it glows red, and that glowing red is literally like heat shining like a flashlight on you. So it does do a great job at keeping you warm while you stand in front of it. However, if you put your hand above it, the vast majority of the heat is being lost in the form of hot air rising. And so you put one of these little fans on there, and once they come up to temperature, they start blowing. And these will blow a breeze all the way across my room. 10-12 feet away, you feel the breeze from these fans. They really move a lot of air. And then when you put your hand above it, you can feel a little bit of warmth, but it feels like the same kind of radiant warmth that you would get standing out here in front of it. It is not losing very much heat up above. So the only concessions I've made is that I've wrapped these wires in foil, and I tend to keep this on low. If you use it on high, it gets really hot, and I've had some people say that the wires on the back will melt. The temperature for this bottom plate, the way this works is this bottom plate here is a different temperature than this top plate. There's a piece that separates the two right in there. And the difference in temperature between this hot bottom plate and the slightly cooler topper plate causes electrons to flow. And that little tiny flow of electrons is what powers that fan. So it's literally the heat that is causing electricity that is making this fan run. But it does have its limits, and you can only get it up to a certain temperature before it isn't working right anymore, and you just sort of burn it out. And the low setting probably brings it up pretty close to that upper end limit, because I mean, you get some serious fan blow in here on low. So when you put it on high, it probably is more than this should be able to handle. And if you ran it on high, which I've done plenty of times, but if you did that consistently and you did it for a long period of time, I could see you possibly burning up the circuitry or something like that. So just for a variety of reasons, I use it on low, especially if I'm using the fan. If I take it out in the yard or something and I've got it set to high because it's a cold day, I'll leave the fan inside. This is just sort of sitting on top of it. I'm not going to go into how I mounted it there. You can mount yours yourself however you want. But after 3 years, I'm still using this. It's still running strong. It still works great. And again, all I did was put a little bit of foil over the wires in the back, and then make sure I run it on low rather than high, and you will have a fantastic experience with your thermoelectric fan. So I will put a link to these. There's a whole different variety of them once you get in there. I'll put a link to this fan exactly. The price is anywhere between $50 and $90 every time. It changes all the time. So just look around, see what you can find, see if you find something that works for you. All of these function basically the same. I just like this one because of the way it mounts to that, and I like the dual fans because it really moves a lot of air, and it's a little more compact. The bigger ones with one fan would stick up, you know, much bigger. So I like this little compact one. So I will put a link to that down below. Thanks for watching this one. Make sure you're subscribed, and I'll see you real soon in the next one.